Tin soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio. Gotta get down to it. Soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been done long ago. What if you knew her, found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know? Tin soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio. Gotta get down to it. Soldiers are cutting us down. Should have been done long ago. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know? La 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 la. For dead in Ohio, for dead in Ohio. Tin soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. For this summer I hear the drumming for dead in Ohio. For dead in Ohio, for dead in Ohio. How many more for dead in Ohio? Now, I'm not much of an instrumentalist, and people may not like my singing, but we're coming up again from the whiff of the wind. What's blowing our way is news of Pakistan and entering Pakistan. Obama said in his speech to us, for his campaign speech, you know, I'm not worried about Iran, I'm worried about Pakistan. So we've got that to look forward to, possibly. It looks like we, God, you know, people are more concerned about, you know, Christians, suppose Christians are more concerned about people saying, oh God, you know, and a lot of it's because they think it's blasphemous, you know, or sounds blasphemous, or probably mostly people just think, well, it's socially unacceptable, therefore you shouldn't say it. You know, this whole song, although it was pop chart type stuff, back, I guess back when I was a child, and, you know, it goes to the popularity, and people want the, you know, their fans to kiss the ring and all that stuff. Kiss the ring, yes, you know. Oh, yes. And all that stuff that goes with it. The principle of the song is right, you know. Neil Young had the right attitude when he wrote it. That when somebody protests a war, and I'm not saying you should, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but a lot of people consider the Vietnam War to have been a bad choice. Although we may not, you know, we may not understand everything that went on and all that stuff. In a foreign land, many people have said, that had nothing to do with our security. It wasn't the Defense Department that went out to attack them. It was the Department of War. And at the same time, I'm thankful for soldiers and everything like that. I just wonder about their leaders, myself. But we're entering a time where we're going to go into another war. So, we're still in Afghanistan. That's got that news is popping up on that all of a sudden. It was like, it was dead. And you get that when you get the news. You get, crap when you listen to the news. Because they're not going to tell you what's going on in Afghanistan until it suits the political leaders. And I know people don't believe this. Suits the political leaders for them to tell them what's going on in Pakistan. That's when they start telling what's going on in Pakistan or Afghanistan. And now, there's been news that, Pakistan, released somebody who helped the Pakistanis build a nuclear bomb and all that stuff. And, there's starting to be hostility against Pakistan, who was our ally. And I've got every reason to believe and no reason not to. I'm not saying that's enough for conviction, but that we're going to enter an economic crisis, and many people believe that, Christian or otherwise, that we're going to enter an economic crisis. And, I've said it before, I think the 60s revisited, where people say things have got to change, and complaints that they're not, and problems with the government and all that stuff. But Ford did in Ohio. Apparently, Neil Young believed that Nixon didn't want people protesting at Ohio State University. He wanted to make an example out of protesters, and so that's what happened. Four did. So it wasn't one stray bullet, and it wasn't some trigger happy soldiers, or some trigger happy policemen, that kind of thing. So I don't know when we're going to realize that this country needs to be shaped up morally, and that is the answer to our problems. But you see all over YouTube the profanity of what is falsely called Christian.